In a dried-up river in Morocco, we can spot a Beastaheviosaur. With some sort of tech strapped to its back, it seems to be being controlled by someone else. That's because this Tyrannosaur is being used to monitor an apex predator's activity. You see, Morocco has some very valuable dinosaurs like the Craterosaurus, a poorly known stegosaur that's only known from here. And when a new apex comes into the area, it can become a serious issue. And that apex predator is incredibly close. That carnivorous dinosaur is one I'm sure a few of you have probably heard of, the Neovenator, an incredibly large carcharodontosaur. Although original estimates put it up to 23 feet long, this one can grow up to 30. As it turns out, there's a lot we didn't know about this apex predator, but we'll dive into it throughout this episode to explain this theropod better. Currently, its territory is being threatened, as multiple dinosaurs are around. It has to first let its presence be known, so the other dinosaurs can know it's here. With loud bellowing roars, it's essentially saying to anything that can hear it to back off. And when that doesn't work, it charges in. With a camera and microphone at the side of its head, the Beastaheviosaur is controlled to engage. Across a riverbed, it sees its target. And the Neovenator is ready for a fight. After both carnivores try to intimidate, it seems it'll have to come down to more. It may seem at first the Neovenator has won this battle. However, as it takes its powerful jaws off of it, it makes a crucial mistake. Free from its capture gear, the Beastaheviosaur runs away, and the Neovenator lets its place as the alpha predator be known. But if we look a little further, there are other creatures in this area, such as the two poachers that were controlling the Beastaheviosaur. And as they watch the Neovenator take down the remote-controlled dinosaur, another one appears right behind them. After shooting a few rounds into the mohawked predator, it's obvious that its hide is too tough to be penetrated. The Neovenator's DNA was spliced with that of Komodo dragons to fit the Ingen genome, and this makes its skin incredibly rough. This second Neovenator, much like the first, is a male, and it's guarding its territory. Similar to several other predators we've mentioned this season, the Neovenator is incredibly territorial. Although, unlike the two other dinosaurs we've covered with that trait, it is not an Abelisaur. Instead, as said earlier, it is a carcharodontosaur, so it's more closely related to that of Ceats, Metriacanthosaurus, and Megalosaurus. But the Neovenator is at least confirmed to be the biggest of these. You also have most likely noticed the strange appendages coming out of its head that look like a weird haircut. Believe it or not, these are specially adapted sensors that help it track air frequencies all over its territory. If anything does disturb the air frequencies, these strange barbs will pick it up. But it also has several other very adaptive tools. We mentioned its tough skin earlier, but it also has some of the largest claws of any carcharodontosaur I'd ever seen. Almost rivaling that of some Megaraptorians, these claws are incredibly dangerous. Backed up with some stupidly strong arms, this monster has an easy time taking down prey this way. Combined with an abnormally long jaw, some very large teeth, and a fairly decent sense of smell, Neovenator is clearly a very adept hunter. With all of this power up in the front though, it seems it is lacking in some other areas. Like for example, the armor I mentioned earlier actually slows it down quite a bit, and as well as that, its legs are not the longest, making it somewhat slow. This means it usually resorts to scavenging with that sense of smell I mentioned earlier, or it will also use its long jaws and its large arms to strike out at prey like an ambush predator would. What makes it especially dangerous though is its frequency across the world. At least 10 separate individuals have been spotted, and in this area alone, there is 2 as shown. This means they've been a danger to people, the populations around them, and even themselves in some cases. With one particular instance in Great Britain, a Neovenator ran out into traffic, which not only got several people injured, but it actually got the dinosaur killed too. I rarely ever talk about the effect that our population has on the dinosaurs themselves, but especially with these larger ones, it can be very problematic. Thankfully, this area was only being used by the poachers and a couple wildlife agents, but hopefully it doesn't run into any more trouble than that. What's more odd in this situation than anything is how there's two Neovenators living in the exact same area. Specifically two males, which is even rarer to see. Behavior like this has been seen in some animals like big cats before, specifically lions, and how sometimes there will be several large males in a pride. Usually it means those two males are siblings. Brothers. More research would have to be done to confirm that theory or not, but it may be true. Usually people don't have to worry about being attacked. Unless they stumble into its territory unknowingly, you should be safe. However, there is still an occasion where it hunts a live animal. Going back to our faithful little stegosaur, the Craterosaurus as mentioned, it is currently being stalked, and it knows it. It has several advantages, such as being smaller, which makes it faster, and of course it has the Thagomizer spines, which gives it a level of defense. But still, this is a Neovenator we're talking about. It wisely begins to move away quickly as it knows the Neovenator is closing in, but the Neovenator doesn't have a lot of time and it knows that too, so it tries to close the gap. The fate of the Craterosaurus will be left unknown. And with that being said, thank you all for watching this great episode of Ingen Dinosaur Profile, and remember, if something chases you, run.